Everybody, and welcome back to Tuesday Training. I'm Tony Merwin, your host as always, and we are always here live Tuesday, every Tuesday, I should say, at 9 a.m. Central, here to host your best industry experts, trainers, and just superstar agents and leaders in the business, right? We're here to spotlight them, get them a chance to get on camera and teach you guys some actionable content that you can use, put in your business, and help more people make more money and grow our business. Isn't that what it's all about? So we have an outstanding show today, man. I can't wait to bring on our guest. But first, I just want to talk about something that's happened to me real quick. I was live yesterday chatting about it. I got locked out of Facebook. Somehow Facebook had, I guess, come to the idea that my account, my ad account specifically, was advertising social causes and political causes, which I never have. I have zero interest in that nonsense. And so they flagged that. And because of that, they wanted me to reconfirm my ID to make sure I was who I said I was so that I could continue advertising social and political causes that I've obviously never done. So when they locked me out of my account, I had to submit my ID. When they lock you out, and you try to log in, it redirects you to this other page, says, hey, we're not sure you're who you say you are, and you're trying to advertise on all these social and political issues. We would like you to confirm your identification. And I had to upload my state issued driver license or some kind of verifiable ID. And then what was funny about it is they had all these links to learn about the process, but the only way those links work is if you're able to log into Facebook to view them in the first place. So none of the helpful links that they wanted to direct me to could I even see because I couldn't even get into my account, completely locked out. This went on for about 6 days. They said it would take 48 hours to 45 days to correct. And I was getting nowhere. After I had submitted my ID, they came back 2 days later and said, hey, we need you to submit your ID. And I was like, I did. They're like, well, you're going to have to resubmit it, I guess. So it was a little bit of a challenge, but it reminded me of something that I've talked to you guys about quite a bit, and I posted videos about it, is the 8 relationships in insurance, and understanding that managing relationships is a huge thing. And I could have easily gotten extremely frustrated with Facebook over the whole ordeal. I could have fired off some negative emails. I could have got them on the phone somehow, maybe, and argued some points with them, but I didn't. I took it as it was, understanding that this is a platform that I love, I enjoy. I use it to propel my business and get out my message. And me arguing with them would get me absolutely nowhere. 100% it's their fault. 100% they screwed up. 100% this is their mistake. But I wasn't going to get anywhere by pointing that out. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. Let me be as nice as I can, kill them with kindness. And I found my marketing rep who helps me out on my ad account and got him tied in. And thankfully, through all the nice, kind words and kind of substantiating that with evidence of why Facebook is important to me and what I use it for, he was able to get a security person connected with me through email, and through a short period of email exchanges yesterday, well, I was able to get my Facebook account back. It was funny because right before that, I started to notice, because this guy was telling me, he's like, I can't even see your Facebook account. Like, you don't even have one. Like, I'm searching Tony Merwin, and there is no Tony Merwin Facebook account. I'm like, this is asinine. It's everywhere, and there's all this evidence of it. I went to my wife's Facebook page using her phone and her app and started looking around. I'm not in her friends list. Any of the pictures that she had of me or any other things that she had tagged me for, all my tags are gone. Joe even told me, he's like, dude, I can't find you on my friends list. I can't even find you in the group. When I search for your public profile, it says this page does not exist. And it came to the point where I thought I was completely deleted from Facebook. And it was funny because Grace started laughing, and she was like, man, did they delete you? Maybe it's because you watch all that right-wing news. You're watching Steven Crowder and Redacted and all this other stuff. Maybe they came in and were like, delete that guy. And I'm like, surely that's not one of the conspiracies that comes true. And thankfully it didn't. So nonetheless, I'm back on Facebook. All my content's here. All my friends are still there. Everything is still happening. It was just a little glitch in the system that disabled me. But thankfully, Finch was the gentleman that I spoke with yesterday at Facebook. He was able to get it all cleaned up. So we are back, and we are in full swing, ready to roll, and just in time for Tuesday training today. So I'm super happy that we got all that worked out yesterday, and we don't have to do any workarounds. So without further ado, I would like to bring on our guest today. You've probably seen me advertise about it. But this person I met when I was super, super green in the industry. And I won't tell the whole story because she gets tired of hearing me talk about it anyway. But this is one of the first power players that I ever met in the industry. And when I met her, it was very obvious that she was definitely one of the thought leaders and one of the power players in the business. The presence that she carried when she entered the room, the way people engaged with her, the way people spoke to her was very evident to me as a brand new agent. I think I was in the business maybe 18 months as a licensed agent. And I meet this person and I was like, wow, okay. So that's what it's like when you're an authority in the business. That's how people treat you. That's how people respect you. That's how people take care of you. I understood. And then since then, I have followed her career as my career has grown and have been amazed at everything she's accomplished. And one thing I will say is that there's a lot of us that talk about wanting to leave a mark on the industry, right? We want to leave the industry in a better place than it was when we arrived in it, right? For all of us that say that, for all of us that believe that, and for all of us that are actually trying to accomplish that, this person that's about to come up, that's who we're chasing. This is the one that set the bar for that. If that was an item you could look up in the dictionary, leave the industry a little bit better than the way I found it, there would be a picture of this person sitting next to that, because that's 100% what they've done. And if you are one of those people that is like, I want to leave the industry better than the day I found it, this is the person that you're trying to emulate 100%. She's an agent first. She always has been an agent. She thinks like an agent. She cares about agents. But outside of being an agent, she's an amazing business owner, the CEO of Senior Security Benefits, recently became a managing integrity partner. Extremely, extremely respectable. She's an author, speaker. You've seen her out there. She's a coach. She's known as the queen of the bundle, and she's become a good friend of mine. And I'm super, super excited to bring her on the show. So let's get her up here and start chatting with her a minute. What is going on, Ms. Gaylan Hendricks?
Well, other than almost crying, man, what an intro. I like that one much better, Tony, than being the one that scared you to death. No, welcome. Hey, I love this business. It's, you've heard me say it before. My dad was a debit agent, best salesperson by far that I've ever met in my entire life. Died too young. But the cool thing, he always said, I want you in the ordinary business, which is what we're in today. But I always say now, he only got one thing wrong in all of the stuff he taught me. And it's not that we're in the ordinary business, we're in the extraordinary business. And fortunately for me, I've met so many amazing people. There's always somebody that's got a negative Nancy or negative Ned comment in our life, right? But the cool thing is that we are surrounded by so many great people. It doesn't take us very long to find one person to get rid of that negative Ned or negative Nancy moment, and I was sitting there listening to you about the Facebook thing, and you're one of the more positive people that I know. And I don't ever see any political whatever, it's about 8 years now. I had Motivational Inc. come after me, wanting me to go on their circuit and, be on their parade, but you had to write a book. And I was like, hey, dudes, here's the deal. I'm not going to write a book that's going to make the first person that buys it $1 million. If I do, then it's luck of the draw. I don't have the secret for, quitting every addiction that they've ever had, or I would only weigh 110. But I said, at the end of the day, what we've got to remember is that I'm in the best business. It's a business that just keeps on giving. And I don't mean just by renewals. It just keeps giving. And I've always been raised to be a giving, generous person. My parents, I always thought we were middle class. We were broke. I've later found out. I didn't find out till I was a junior in high school, thank the Lord. But what happened to me from that point on is that it's just like the old saying, and if you just keep it simple, it really is true. The more you give, the more you get. And, I've just learned not to be bitter in my life. I can have moments of sadness, moments of depression, just like everybody else. but I'm just fortunate to be surrounded by so many people. And I think maybe you got kicked off Facebook because, I got hacked. I'm just going to blame me, but I got a new hashtag for you. And I think this will really help you in face tag jail. Finch is our favorite.
Finch is our favorite.
Finch is our favorite at Facebook. We got the 3 F's. I've lived by the 3 F's in my life, but it's faith, family, and finance. It's what makes my marriage work. It's what makes the dream work. And I've always said, I'm not going to tell people how to live their lives. I don't care who they do or who they love or what they do or what they love. That's on them. What I care about is taxes. I think all insurance agents should. You need to know who your politicians are, because once Tony and I teach you how to make 6 figures, you're going to find out that you're no longer in the lowest tax bracket. You're in the highest tax bracket. And there was a time in my life where 54% of my income was being paid to the government via Social Security, via, the federal government, and, other taxes that you have to pay. But I had the best CPA in the world, another man that was very instrumental in my life that died way too young. And he said, what a great problem to have, Gaylan, that you've got to pay 54% of your income in taxes. He goes, 2 things I'm going to coach you on. Number 1, he goes, I don't think anybody in their right mind, when you started in this business, would have thought that you would have had to pay 54% of your income in taxes. And I said, no, especially me. And he said, secondly, what a great thing that you've grown up in a business where you've learned the business side first. And you're not that guy or gal that's like, oh my gosh, I owe this tax bill. Where am I going to go get the money? You had the money, you paid the money. And I've always remembered that. It's, when people are, y'all know me if you're watching, I'm very transparent, but it doesn't matter if you're bitching, moaning, or groaning. I have a new word. It's called gritching, and it's the grappy bitch. But at the end of the day, we can all be that, right? But what an amazing blessing to be in an industry where I get introduced like you just introduced me. Had a time in my life where I had to pay almost 54% of my income. Is there change that needs to be made? Absolutely. But, I was telling you, Tony, earlier on about the Hall of Fame, and I'm talking about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And one of my heroes and one of the people next to Gene Simmons that I would actually be starstruck by is Dolly Parton. They're both in the music industry. They're both highly talented, but they both grew up dirt poor. And they both are filthy rich right now, but it's just not money for them. It's the way they live their life. Gene Simmons is a very frugal person. He doesn't spend money on just anything. He spends it on his family. Dolly Parton doesn't go out and blow a lot of money. Her famous quote is, it costs a lot of money to look this cheap. And agents have heard me say that in my trainings. And when Dolly Parton got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I had some agents go, oh my gosh, the great Dolly Parton's quoting you. And I'm like, no, please don't get that rumor started. Please, please, please. I quote her. I even have a book that proves it. But I think what an amazing career those two have had, but they're marketing geniuses. Think about it. Gene Simmons is still making money off marketing a band that didn't come alive till 71.
Right.
1971, y'all. Celebrating 37 years in this business this year has been one of those highlights of my life, because I get to go back and I get to look at it, and what a great business. But Facebook, StreamYard, all the portals, the platforms we look at, what have they done to our business, man? They have made us look amazing. I had a guy yesterday call me and he wanted me to do another training for him. And I go, dude, I watch the reports every month. You're either riding your business somewhere else that doesn't benefit me, or you're just not getting it. And at the end of the day, I got to put my time and efforts on what pays. And he said, oh, well, I thought that you just, had all this money just coming out of nowhere. No, I work every day. I work really hard every day. But I think I make it look so fun that people don't get it. And that's what Dolly does. That's what Gene Simmons does. I always tell agents, remember, you're more important to your clients than their doctors. Without you, there's no doctor. Doctors don't work for free. Gene Simmons doesn't work for free. And he tells you that. And he's proud of that statement. As agents, we don't work for free. You all are the Marines. I can't do what I do. And if you've followed me anywhere, I hate the word can't. But it's physically impossible for me to do what I do without an agent. It's physically impossible for me to create a program without agents telling me their objections. If you're handling your objections at the end of a presentation, I'm going to be the Bill Parcells in our Parcells-Vinny Testaverde relationship. Even though they didn't really like each other personally, they admired and respected each other so much that they said they were never as good as they were when they were together. And I think that is an example of a great coach. You want to be respected first, liked later, which is what they have. Yeah. Think about the great Jimmy Johnson. And before I get the cowboy hate mail, they are still America's team. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you root for. They still make more money than any franchise in the football history. But at the end of the day, it's about, what do these successful people have in common? And I'm going to tell you, it's a 4-letter word, and it's work. The people that have the better work ethic are the people that are going to be the best in this industry. I have never met a successful person that didn't work hard to get there. Those of you that think you get to play golf 4 days a week and work 1 day a week, you've been coached by the wrong person. The people that are all show and no go, find out who you're working with. I use a lot of rhymes. I'll probably be known as Dr. Seuss of the females before it's all said and done. What an amazing accomplishment. And for you women who immediately start going, oh yeah, the men, let me tell you, my biggest supporters, my biggest advocate, my biggest fans are men. Because the first thing they'll tell me is that you don't come in like a wrecking ball with your hatchet and your axe trying to get in a box and keep us out of it. I think what's great, and I've said this about Tony and Grace since the day I met Grace, is I love how inclusive you both are. You include everybody. If we go back and we look at any of our backgrounds and our DNA, we're nothing but a bunch of mutts. But what do they say about mutts? They're the most lovable. They're the most trainable. They're the most happy. And I'll take being a mutt over a purebred any day of the week. I'm pretty sure I told you guys this forever. I wanted to be Miss America. But the crown I wear today as Queen of the Bundle, I'm pretty sure makes me a whole lot more money than any Miss America. And think about how much you're set up for failure as Miss America. You have that one moment of being beautiful and everybody wanting to be you. And when I go back and look at the depression and the suicides that have happened over a lot of the Miss America's reigns, I'm like, what's going on there? Who's coaching them? Who's helping them? Who's inspiring them? So when you walk into a customer's home, you've got to remember, everything you sell them is going to be eyeballed by those kids of those parents. We have 2 kiddos out there. We got the one who's worried about his inheritance or her inheritance. And y'all, I kind of talk like the Bible. I may say his a lot. I may say guys. I may say her. Hey, God made us all in his image. So let's just remember that. So at the end of the day, I start looking at things and I'm like, hey, how do we inspire people? Well, those two kids are who we inspire. The one that's looking at that for pure greed, we can touch that button and we can make that guy or gal our client. The other one was the kid like me who would do it again in a heartbeat. I would empty every penny in my bank account to have my mother or my father back on this earth. I can always, like Bobby Beige says, I can always go out and make more money. Gaylan, you and I, all we have to do is wake up and go make more money because we're willing to work for it. And when he told me that for the first time, I was like, man, that's probably the thing I respect about him the most. But I'm that kid that I went to see what my mom was paying because, she would go get a care credit application to take care of Molly, her dog, or, Pepper the kitty. And she's paying 18% interest on that. So what I learned to say was, and be respectful, was, Mom, look, I want you to buy and do what you want to do, but let's talk about it. Let's make sure it's the best decision. So when you're bundle selling, you want to make sure you're selling 4 $30 plans and not $120 plan. Because here's the problem. Your client's not going to remember what the $120 was for. And when she cancels it or her kid cancels it, her cancer insurance just went out the window. When you're selling 4 $30 plans, hey, it worked for Denny's, it can work for us. It's called the Grand Slam theory. What's that $30, Mom? Okay, that's for my dental, vision, and hearing. What's that $30, Mom? Okay, well, I brought this Med Advantage plan that's 0 premium. Yeah, that's what I thought you told me. I thought you said your insurance was 0. Yeah, but here's the problem. Gaylan told me, and you always want them to say, John told me, Tony told me, Gaylan told me, because now you're their agent. Think about it. Nobody knows who the frick Progressive is, but they know Flo. And by the way, I've been doing this a lot longer than Flo, and I shut down Flo and Progressive Super Bowl night because she decided it was okay to use the term bundle queen. Well, I sent an email to Progressive's legal department. I can't find that commercial anywhere. So I'm telling you, somebody's found out how to bury something on the internet. So if y'all find it, send it to me. But you want her to say that $30 is for that $8,300 I'm going to pay out of pocket. $8,300? What's $8,300 for? Well, Gaylan said 87% of cancers are diagnosed in people ages 50 and older. Well, what's that $30 for? Well, that $30. Oh, y'all, Surrey, Facebook must have found us again, Tony, because Surrey's quoting me. The 8,300 or Siri. I call her Surrey. Sean, my son always goes, Mother, that's Tom Cruise's or whatever's daughter. Siri is the one on your phone. So anyway, sorry. But I'm coming back to this. So the $30 for the life insurance, because if I die, Gaylan said, I won't be here to face that burden, but I still shouldn't leave it on you and the kids. And then that other $30, well, you know what? That's for my short-term recovery care or my hospital indemnity. If I have to go into a nursing home, that could cost you $135 a day because I don't have any money. But if they're the wealthy person, they're thinking, why would I spend my money on that when I can buy that plan for $1 a day? I can't get interest on my money paying that. When you sell logically, your business sticks. Persistency is priceless. Persistency is your paycheck. When you think about protecting your policyholder, you're also protecting your persistency. And one of the reasons I love Aetna on their cancer plan, and they're good partners. See, I brand everybody that's a good partner. We've got to remember that I was one of the first that had a proprietary product with Aetna. when you've grown up in this business and you've been a health insurance agent selling individual health insurance, you know Aetna's a name that all those people had at their work. Aetna's a name that they saw on TV. So I'm getting to partner with Aetna. I had one of my really good friends, the chairman of the board of Manhattan Life, who I also have a proprietary product with, said, why do you write all your cancer with Aetna? And I go, because yours is double the price of theirs. I can sell the same amount of product and bundle another dental, vision, and hearing with you guys. Or I can sell another product and get another lead or another client. I said, I'm about taking the client's money and investing it. And my annuity background, a lot of people say, I didn't know you were a top annuity producer. And women, before you start banging the drum that you've been offended, nobody's been more offended than me. But I laugh about it. I got #2 annuity producer award at American Life and Casualty. And my boss at the time ended up later being the president of, what was it called? What's the big annuity company? American Integrity, or you know what I'm talking about. There's one out there. I have like 14 annuities with them. I should know the name. Sorry, Kevin Weingart. I'll get it for you. But what happened is the Jack Schrader was the CEO of the time. And he announces Gaylan Hendricks as the #2 agent in the country. And I walk up to the stage and he says, well, I guess Gaylan couldn't be here today. And he sent his beautiful assistant. And I can see Kevin in the audience, you know, and I walk up and I'm just like, thank you so much for this. I said, I am Gaylan Hendricks. A lot of people mistake my name as a male name, but you know what? Once you get it, it's like Cher Reba. I'm going to be remembered always. And you know what? I could have walked up there like Tony said about Facebook. And that's another big key, you guys. Listen to your client. Repeat what they say back to them. It means everything to them that you paid attention. Some of you get caught up in talking about all the pictures on the wall and their grandkids and all this. All you got to do is say one thing that said, I listened to you, right? But I literally didn't get mad. I was like Tony with Facebook. I'm not going to get mad because I'm going to be #1 next year. And I want him to remember this moment.
Oh, I was mad. I just didn't tell him I was mad.
And was my feelings hurt?
Yeah.
Was my pride hurt? Yeah. But guess who was coming up to Gaylan at the end? They weren't going up to Jack. They were coming up to me. How did you do that? Where did you come from? You know, I had one guy that I'd worked with years before that said, I just thought you were the commission accounting girl at the office I was at. I go, I was the commission accounting girl.
I was counting my commissions.
Well, back then I wasn't. I was counting theirs. And that's what made me want to be an agent, because I started seeing these checks. And you've got these people. A lot of times I used to use the word women. Now I just say people to make it PC for everybody so we can all, you know, get a trophy at the end of the day. But, you know, instead of sitting there dropping, moaning and groaning about this agent making this big paycheck, I was like, I can either join them or I can sit here and complain all day. And what am I going to do? And I fast forward a couple of years, a bunch of agents went on their incentive trip to Hawaii. Y'all have heard me say this from the stage. Good friend of mine, Lisa Black, she says, well, what are we going to do this week? We're going to lay by the pool. I go, no, we're going to go work those leads. We're going to show them that we know how to sell. And we went in there and stole the leads. Absolutely stole a stack of leads. I made the appointments. We went out. And for 3 weeks, our boss, now, this is sad because he's passed away, but he could not figure out Black and Hendricks. Hello. I'm Gaylan Hendricks. She's Lisa Black. So finally, Lisa's still scared. I'm like, we are Black and Hendricks. You know, that's who we are. And he was like, what? How did y'all do that? And I said, well, I'll tell you one thing. I didn't have one lead that wasn't interested. They may have not wanted insurance, but they were interested. I just didn't know how to pitch them. And so I've learned never to say a lead sucks because I've had to call the telephone book. You know, back in the day, we called Yellow Pages. Back in the day, Tony, if you remember, long distance was 32 cents a minute. Interstate cost more than intrastate.
Yep.
Never made sense to me either, but inter was in the state, intra was out of state. And, you know, we were paying anywhere from 25 to 32 cents a minute. So we had to make the client interested. One of the employees that I trained to be one of the best telemarketers in the country still works with me today. She's sitting right in an office 2 overs from me. We've worked together 36 years. And it's about showing the way. So, Tony, why don't you pull up a presentation a minute, and I'm going to tell the guys what we're going to do, because I don't read presentations, y'all. Y'all got carriers for that. You passed your insurance exams. You know how to read.
I'm so happy to be a guest on your show today, Gaylan. You're doing a fantastic job.
Got to have a designated driver. That's the way I go with it, you know. So
let's do this.
We'll go to the next slide. Now, y'all might hear my walk-up song if he does it, but he'll click over. There he goes. It went great. So everybody today is going to get this presentation. What's mine is yours. You can't use the entire presentation in selling because the things that have got Aetna's name on it, they don't like advertising. That's not approved, right? So, but they still let us use this presentation. It says for agent use only. One of the things you've got to remember on this page is that pink bullet. You heard me already quote it. 87% of all cancers are diagnosed in people ages 50 and older. Everybody that watches the 30, 60, 90 video that I did always says, Gaylan, why do you always say cancer first? You know, I treat people the way I want to be treated. And if I've got a Med Advantage plan, I know I could be out of pocket going into 2023 out $8,300. I just turned a client's $629 out of pocket a month into $741. I didn't really, the government did. So those of you that are not selling Plan N because you think it's easier to sell zero premium, you've got to remember that N doesn't stand for no, not now. Plan N is yes, right now. All of these clients understand copays. They're coming out of ACA. They're coming out of group plans. They understand copays. 98% of these doctors, all you've got to do is go to Medicare.gov, accept Medicare on assignment. It's still amazing to me, Tony, how many of our Med Advantage salespeople don't understand basic Medicare principles. To me, you should not be selling Med Advantage if you haven't sold Medicare supplements, because it's not fair to the client when they have their one and only guaranteed issue, turning 65 moment. They call a Joe Namath commercial. And by the way, Joe doesn't know and JJ's not the way. They don't have licenses. You do. You're the expert. They're not. They're reading a script. They're an actor. And they can lie to people all day long. You lie to a person, you lose your license. You don't want to lie anyway. But if you did, you would lose your license. So you have to make sure your clients know what's available to them. Also, it helps you with CMS if you were to ever get a complaint, because you're going to tell your clients at the beginning, there's 2 ways you can go. You can go on a zero premium plan, like you told me you want to talk about that you see on TV. But once we go down that road, I no longer can talk to you about life insurance, and I can no longer talk to you about any kind of financial investment, because CMS says I've got to get a scope of appointment signed. And all I can talk to you about that point is how to build your package of protection with cancer plans, dental, vision, and hearing plans, nursing home coverage. Okay, now, the reason you don't ever want to use cancer plan, nursing home coverage, if you pulled up to the McDonald's window, which, by the way, the McDonald's employees have a 97% attach rate, and they said, hey, do you want liver and onions with your burger? You would say, no. But because they have the best French fries in the world, They have a 97% attach rate. You have to make the plans on the scope of appointment sound as interesting and as attractive and as protective as the base feeder plan. All of these clients know Med Advantage, Med Sup. Then when you say, when we go to Medicare Supplement, a lot of the TV people do not talk about Med Sup because they're not paid well if they do. I've trained all the big call centers in this country, and I have heard them say, I don't sell Med Sup because I don't get paid for it. I said that out loud. It's being recorded. You see it going down the bottom of the screen. And a lot of these are contracted affiliates by the carriers. But the carriers don't know that's going on, or at least I don't think they do. I hope they don't. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I'm telling you, your job is to bring in the two plans. Then do spouse in the house exploration. Because in order to do a discount on the Med Sup, you want to know about the spouse in the house. If that spouse in the house is under age 65, bam, you just picked up more business. You see a lot of the influencers out there telling you, go after the under age 65 health insurance. Guess what, folks? I was the first one that told those influencers out there to go do this. They're leaving money on the table. So are you. Why are you picking up a referral partner when you can make the money? That doesn't make sense to me. Why are you giving money away? No one goes down this road out in front of me throwing out thousands of dollars out the window. Don't be that person. Next slide. Tony, you still driving for me? Okay, he is. There's not any sale you make that you don't get objections. But I talked to y'all about Bill Parcells and Tony Testaverde. I'm being respectful at the beginning, but if I'm going to be a true coach, I'm going to tell you, just like your football coach did, just like your volleyball coach did, just like my debate coach did, you suck if you get objections at the end of your presentation. Your 45-minute presentation should not go an hour. Your 45-minute presentation should go 30 minutes because your client shouldn't have any questions when you're done. You are the expert. You should be doing the job. You should be getting what you're earning by doing your job. And that's overcoming these three objections. I don't care if you're selling pots and pans like Zig Ziglar, or you're selling Estee Lauder behind a counter, or you're selling a cancer insurance plan. These three objections happen each and every time. Can't afford it. Think about if a Med Advantage client says, I can't afford it. If they can't afford $30 a month, who, not do, not does, because that gets you a yes or a no, or are or will you, yes or a no. Sales 101, telemarketing 101. Don't ask questions that start with words that get you shut down, especially when you're not an expert. Ask questions that make them give you an answer. If you can't afford this $30 a month, who in your life is going to pay the $8,300 if you're one of the 87%? And stop. Let them answer. So many of you are a nervous wreck. You're filling in all of that with chatter. We all talk. We all talk people's heads off, but we also know when to listen. When they come back and say, well, I need to check with John to see if he wants me to do this. No, that's not the way we do that, Mrs. Jones. I'm the agent. I'm the licensed professional. One of the things that we learned during COVID is that all of our clients that didn't all of a sudden have emails now do, didn't have a computer, didn't realize that the iPad that they were FaceTiming Johnny from Europe on is actually a computer. But they also learned how to do three-way calling. They learned how to do FaceTime. They learned how to do all that stuff. So COVID was an absolute blessing. All these things that agents saw as extreme challenges in my career has bounced me back into success because I don't give up and I don't stop. I want to win. I want to win every time, because when I win, my client wins. And when you have that mentality, that client's not going to buy from Flo. That client's not going to buy from JJ. That client's not going to buy from Joe. That client's going to buy from Dave Camper. That's who that client's going to buy from. Because you got them on the phone. You got them excited. You got them interested. And before that, they had filled out 18 forms on the internet, sent it to everybody. You got these lead companies that break all that down. Y'all been paying for that. Y'all know what I'm talking about better than I do. But you're thinking somebody's giving your lead away. No, that client's going out there and going to see what all they can get. So you have to be the shining star. If you come to me in my call center, or you come to me as an agent and tell me your lead is not interested, I immediately look at you and go, then tell me, why are you not interesting? This is on you. If they tell me they got to check with Johnny, let's get Johnny on the phone. What's his phone number? Not, do you want me to call Johnny? What's his phone number? Because somebody's going to pay this for you, Mrs. Jones, because let me tell you something. As a kid that took care of my parent, and I get a lot of you aren't there yet, you're a lot younger, but listen to me when I say this. It's coming. You're going to know what it's like to drop your mother at a Medicaid pending facility, that when you walk out and you drop to your knees and cry every tear you've got, you're going to realize that you wouldn't have left your dog at that pound. I come off as a know-it-all because I lived it. I lost a dad to cancer at 52 years of age, didn't make his 53rd birthday. Financial devastation killed my father. He was diagnosed with cancer 6 weeks to 3 years. He lived 5 weeks and 5 days. And my last conversation with my father was, I just wish the death would come sooner because I have life insurance. Don't let that be your client. Don't let your client down. Write down every day at the end of the day who you left unprotected and call them back. Call them back. Just like you would show back up at football camp. Just like you would show up back on the volleyball court. Be that winner. And say, look, I left you unprotected yesterday. I went through this great training and I don't understand why you didn't buy. So I need to send you a declination form. And I'll furnish y'all a declination form. Just find me on Facebook. I'm everywhere. I've got a name like Sharon Reba. It's Gaylan. Go find me. Go ask me. What's mine is yours. When you share and you're not worried about people copying you, and guys, they're going to copy you every day. I'm copied every day. I just got to stay out ahead of the competition. But just think about what a compliment that is to your soul. So go to the next slide. Drum roll. That's going to be yours. I'm not going to read it to you. Y'all can read. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. See, y'all are going to love this. This right here is for you, my friends. I call this the agent conviction slide, and you can use this in your selling. Screenshot it. Text it. Your clients will look at it. Say, hey, this is why you need the cancer plan. This is why you need the short-term recovery care. This is why you want to be taken care of at home. You can buy a plan where you can get home health care coverage. You don't have to go in that nursing home your friend Mildred went in. Dental, vision, and hearing, that just says dental. Think about it. Some of you live in areas like I do in Dallas-Fort Worth area where people drive like idiots, right? 0.04% of the time and 0.06% of the time, they're filing on homeowners and auto. We think they're filing on it all the time. But in this stat pool of 5,000 customers ages 18 to 89, 40% of that clientele, had they had a cancer plan, would have filed on it 40% of the time, but yet we're not bringing it up. Voice deflection is very important in your selling process. If you want a client to listen to you, get excited, bring it down. If you're doing phone work, that's key. They're going to hang up if you sound like bump, 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 bump. We're not Rosie the Robot on the Jetsons. I know some of you don't know what that is. Go Google it. You young ones, you'll find out. And by the way, the reason I know I'm good at this is because when I get off this call, agents start putting these plans on themselves. Because those of you under 65, I'm still under 65. I live with a senior, but I'm still under 65. You can put a cancer plan on yourself and your family. You can put a short-term recovery care on you and your family. Do you know how many people are in Medicaid pending facilities that are under age 65 due to not wearing a helmet on an ATV? $1 a day. Aetna's convicted about keeping their ancillary portfolio locked in at the rate that they buy it at. Their issue age plans. Dental. That doesn't even say dental, vision, and hearing. Your Medicare supplement clients and your MedAdvantage clients love this plan. Y'all, we wrote $25 million of Manhattan Life last year in dental. Another $5 million, somewhere around that, with Aetna. Why are we selling that much? It's not me sitting in this office writing those apps. Agents are doing it because they realize these packages of protection are important. It not only protects their clients against financial devastation, but it gets you protected on your persistency, because the more products you have with the client, the more they see you as their agent. Final expense. Yep, 1 out of 1 still die every day. But we're not offering life insurance. If you set up your presentation like I told you in the beginning, you will know immediately what my dad found out. He told me the worst feeling as an agent was when a client would call and say, "Hey, Sam, I see your business card everywhere. My dad passed away. How much life insurance did he have?" And when my dad would have to echo the words, "he didn't buy," or "she didn't buy," he said he would just feel awful. Do you feel awful when you don't offer these plans? If you don't, you're not going to win like me. I'm going to go get your client from you. That's why agents are stealing some of your clients, because they're being trained by me. They're being coached by me. They're being trained by the original. I'm the original bundle seller. I've been doing this for 37 years. I don't charge you a dime. I love all of you. I want you to make as much money as you can possibly make. That's what I want to leave in this world, is a legacy of love. And I know that sounds cliche to a lot of you people that have not met me, but I truly love what I do. And I love the people that inspire me to keep doing this every day. I will never retire, because when I was in the annuity business, every one of my my clients that retired died because they quit doing what they loved. They were successful. That's what filled them up. That's what fills you up. If you're struggling, listen to me. Please listen to me. Don't struggle anymore. Reach out to Tony. Reach out to me. Reach out to your partners. I don't use the word upline, downlines. That's something they use in England or in a hierarchy. You're my partner. Anybody that writes an Aetna policy or a Manhattan Life policy, you're my partner. That's why most of my competition in the last 10 years are now my partners, because I work with them. I want to work with you. I can drive by myself, Tony. Did you see that? So this slide right here is boring slide. I'm a type A personality, if you hadn't figured that out. But one thing on this slide I want to come back to, just to make sure you get it, that recurrence benefit, that third little bullet, that's a persistency protector. Your client may get diagnosed with cancer. They're not going to cancel this plan, because if they have the recurrence benefit on this plan, guess what? They're going to keep paying the premium, which means you keep getting paid, because they get to claim on it again if they go so many years without treatment. On the states at the bottom, it's 5-year look back on treatment. That's it. And they qualify. They can't have AIDS or HIV, but that's it. So why cancer on the 30, 60, 90 YouTube that's getting all these views out there? Guys, it's simple. 8,300. If they get diagnosed in June, They may not be done with their treatment December 31st. Guess what? There's another 8,300, except it's going to be 8,900 in 24. Divide out the 8,900 by 12. That's their monthly premium. Show that up against a plan in with a dental, vision, and hearing and a short-term recovery care and a cancer plan attached. When these people leave their work, they're told by their HR person, you can't take your dental with you. You can't take your life with you. It's not portable. Some of them take their treatment cancer plans, but when you're a senior, you don't want to fill out a claim form when you're going through the radic chemo for $150 reimbursement. You want a plan like this where you're going to get a big fat check. We hear all the time at Aetna, clients walking into an oncology clinic and being told we need $3,000. We need $3,500. And that's that cynical Med Advantage agent watching me going, Gaylan, none of my clients pay $8,300. They pay $3,500. Well, $3,500 might as well be $1 million to them if they don't have it. It's the difference between life and death, and you didn't protect them. I work with the Ronald McDonald House. They ask me what I do. I don't say I'm an insurance agent. My dad said he was a public servant. I say I design cancer plans. And the first thing every time is, why is the government not telling us about those plans? I could have had one of those. I could have brought my husband with me, but we've been separated for 9 months while he's working and I'm here with my son. Don't be that agent. Be the agent that wins for your client, and you win every day. Some of you were at Medicare Con. You heard a man stand up on the stage, and I've quoted him ever since. When you serve, you deserve. When you give, you get. When you bow, you're blessed. That's what makes you good at what you do. Not quick pitch in and out. That's the Joes and the JJ call centers. I work with some of the most amazing call centers in this country, and they don't do it that way. I hear their calls. I train their people. And the reason they're selling more cancer than you, the reason they're selling more dental than you, the reason they're selling more short-term recovery care than you is because their comp gets cut for a short period of time. They learn how to sell it, and all those call centers give them back their comp that they deserved. You got to think about who you're leaving unprotected. I ask you to be there for your client. Like I said, you're going to get this presentation, but this rate sheet right here is a legal approved piece, and this right here sets up the sale for you. You go from zero to hero in a New York minute. When you post-date your clients' cancer plans to when they turn 65, you don't get paid until they turn 65, but your client also doesn't have protection, and cancer doesn't care what age you are. Cancer doesn't care that you're turning 65. I see kids at the Ronald McDonald House born with cancer. That's hard. I'm an emotional person. I'm passionate about this because it's my purpose. It's my dad's legacy. Every time a cancer plan sold, my dad lives. He lives through someone else. That is what I do every morning. I get up and I get excited. If you're not excited about this business, you're not doing it right. I beg you to find your excitement. I beg you to find your purpose. You will be great at this business. 6 figures is what I call this business. I have taken a lot actually, minimum wage workers and turned them into 6-figure earners. I'm going to interview some of those people next year. In the first year, they started earning 6 figures because I always told them their goal was 26 apps a week. Not just 6 weeks a year, every week. Because these are policies you can write 365 days a year. And if you want to bust somebody's business out the way you do it, what Med Advantage plan do you have? Humana, blah, blah, blah. Great. I have a cancer plan I want to talk to you about. What cancer protection did your agent put on your plan? 87% of cancers are diagnosed in people ages 50 and older. And you mean to tell me he didn't even talk to you about cancer protection? It is the best asset protection you will ever have. You will go through your savings if you don't have a plan like this. And a lot of your customers are going to go, savings? What are you talking about? I don't have any savings. Some of you think clients out there that's got $250,000 in the bank's loaded. They can go through that in a heartbeat. Can I solve that problem? No, but I can solve 90% of them. So look at this right here, my friends, because we're coming up on an hour. This right here, if you prorate it or post date it, wrong word, to $29.58, you could have put your client in at age 64, $25.50, saving them $5 a month. Now you can show them another plan. Spouse in the house. I think my husband's brilliant for a lot of reasons for marrying me, but the Aetna cancer plan shows he really did score because he's 69. I just turned 59. If he bought $10,000, it's $29.58. On Aetna's app, you have to put the youngest person first. Again, I'm going to say it because this is the one call I get over and over. Put the youngest person first. Put Gaylan first. The queen goes first. However, you got to remember it. And then you're going to look and see what happens. With putting me first, we both get $10,000 for just $9 more a month. But if that spouse in the house is making lots of money and they can't get an ACA for free, they might buy a $30,000 cancer plan from you because, see, ACA is the only plan you can buy after the house is burned down. But it sets our clients up for failure because they think they're getting free insurance and they've got a skinny network and they're not going to get to go to the Hopkins. They're not getting to go to the Mayo. They're not getting to go to MD Anderson, just like your MedAdvantage clients. So make sure you include all of this in your presentation. If they have kids under the age of 26 at home, don't ask them if they want the kids covered because that $38.90 goes to $40.35. So it doesn't matter if they got one kid like I do or 19 kids like the Duggars. Yes, I know we all wonder about that, but we all know how it happened, right? But they're still all covered for $10,000. But be the agent that puts in your CRM when they turn 26 because they're going to get a letter from Aetna that says, congratulations, you're 26 years old. You get to pay your own bills finally. You get $10,000 for $5.42 a month. You can show that young gun that he's smarter than his parents because they all love to be. And his premium for $50,000 is less than $1 a day. $75,000 on this plan's around $34 a month. But you can show him what it would have cost his parent, $100 more. He may be married now. Now you've picked up 2 new leads. And that kid we talked about earlier, who's this going to be a burden on? What's his phone number? Now you're pitching that kid. Spend $1 a day and take care of this out of pocket for your mom or your dad. By the way, I want to talk to you about income protection for you and your family. 1 out of 2 men get cancer, 1 out of 3 women. If your child gets diagnosed with leukemia, you don't want to choose which one of you goes with the kid. You both want to go. I can solve that problem for you. And finally, there's tons of this, and Tony and I can do part 2 some other day. But finally, my best close when I sold these personally, and I still hold a record at a company that Tony and I met at for selling the most in the individual bank draft market, not worksite. I've never met a client that bought one of these that was disappointed they didn't get cancer. But the clients that were diagnosed with cancer, they were mad, but not at me. And I've had that scare. And I will tell you what, I was on an ACA plan at the time. MD Anderson was not my network, but I had $90,000 of cancer coverage. These are cash plans. I sued the federal government to keep these in the market, and we won. The industry thought I was just keeping a Lux Hospital plan under age 65 in the market. No, David Harris and I saw the writing on the wall that all these cash hospital indemnity plans, because that's how these are filed, that's why my history, I would never trade. I loved being that commission accounting girl. I loved being that licensing girl. I loved being that contracting girl. I loved being that filing girl because I learned this business. I appreciate all of you today. I hope that helps you. There's slides that you guys are going to love. It shows how to sell MedAdvantage, why I do 30, 60, 90, and I always do cancer first. perfect slide for this. You can use it in your presentation. One thing MedAdvantage and ACA do very well is in the hospital. Oncology clinics are in the business of oncology. Hospitals have charitable funds, and they have the ability to write it off. And a lot of kids can come up with $1,450. So those of you that are selling hospital indemnity first before cancer are not winning for your clients. You're doing it because it's easier. It talks all illnesses, but cancer is where they get hurt. Not 8,300 just 1 year. It could be 8,300 plus 8,900 plus, drum roll, drugs. We do not have transparency on drugs in this country. And we talk to our clients about drugs. And between drugs and the large out-of-pocket, that's your MedAdvantage hook. Your MedSup is where they want to go to be treated. It could be Mexico. They get to do whatever they want. Those of you in the dual SNP market, Medicaid markets, listen to me carefully. Don't sell more than $5,000 of cancer coverage because those people have to prove on their Medicaid pending application what they did. And the question there on the spouse in the house, yes, this is the plan. But I'm so excited about helping each and every one of you. As you can tell, I love this business. We can go over this in detail. We have all kinds of YouTubes out there. Tony can send you the links. I can get you the links. I'll talk to you personally if I'm available. But I wish you all a happy AEP. This is our Super Bowl. You're all goats. You just don't know it. We have so many Tom Brady's out there. Look at Tom Brady right now, y'all. Tom Brady's showing you we all have those moments. He's going through a divorce. He's not himself. We have those times in our lives. But rally past it. You're going to see him as a GOAT next year because he's a fighter. But more importantly, he's a winner. Now, he's not Roger Staubach. Go Google him too. You'll know what I mean.
Staubach's your man?
My dude.
Steelers. Are you a big Steelers fan or?
No, never. And
neither Dallas was Cowboys, right?
Neither was Terry Bradshaw, for the record. He wanted to be drafted by Dallas, but Pittsburgh got him.
Yes, that is correct.
That's where I
some of that's coming back to me. I was very young during those years, but I remember that rivalry.
I wasn't. Yes, I was really. But
all right. Are you done? I'm just curious. You know
what?
You more?
We have an hour, but I'll tell you what is great about this slide right here, and I want to make sure everybody knows this. These slides right here are third-party slides. You can show these in selling. Mm-hmm. But this is where a $5,000 cancer plan proves fruitful for a client on a MedSup. This client was diagnosed with colon cancer. We couldn't write him at the time because he was a spouse in the house. And this couple was common law married. But there's two things on this slide you've got to remember. The first one is catastrophic threshold. There's no max out of pocket, right? This $1,295.08 was what this cost him per month for this drug. And this client made around $900 a month in income. So that wiped him out 4 months of income. Insurance agents don't really worry if we get wiped out 1 or 2 months because we're making really good money. If you're not, call us. But that $1,295.08, y'all, that's a month, 3 months. It's a lot of money. But that $25,000 figure on there is what somebody under age 65 would pay if they pulled up to the CVS Health window.
Is $25,000 at the deductible portion, as you're saying?
That's because formularies in the under age 65 market are not required to cover all drugs. Mm-hmm. But in the PDP market, they're required as long as they're not experimental or newly introduced. And you pull up to the window. How many times have you pulled up with the greatest new antibiotic and the guy at the window goes, "Oh, we don't cover that on your insurance. Sorry." You don't call your agent and go, "Damn it." You go, "Okay, here's my $150. But in this case, it would
antibiotic I got prescribed after a dental.
Yeah.
I had dental surgery and they gave me some antibiotics afterwards. And they're like, "Oh yeah, that one's still $60 because it's not covered under your
Well, I'll give you a TMI moment. I wear a hormone patch that makes everybody happy in my life. It's a life-saving for everybody. I've been on it for 8 years, at least. It's still not covered. I still use GoodRx, but GoodRx is your friend too. We'll have to have a conversation about underage one day, Tony. But that's how you're going to get more leads from the Joes and the JJs. Take your lead age down. Start getting those people in short-term recovery. Start getting those people in cancer plans. They will be your client when they T65 because you're their new Flo or their new Gaylan.
Flo and Lily. That's where we came up with the idea to put Grace's face on everything. Was the same understanding. So that's what we're trying to do there. But man, wow. Let me tell you, come on, you knocked it out of the park. And I knew you would.
You.
I mean, bringing in the big guns. I've had some pretty good coaches on the show. I think most of the viewers would agree. But you laid it out flat. So thank you so much. We need to bring you back and talk about the 30, 60, 90 thing during OEP.
We do.
I've been preaching about that as well. I picked that up from you and kind of started to look at the ridiculousness of AEP versus OEP. AEP, they give them, 53 days?
Yep.
They can make as many choices as they want. The last one sticks.
Yep.
But then OEP, they get 90 days to second guess the choice they made. And a lot of agents trick themselves into thinking, well, no, you can't market during OEP. Don't.
Wrong.
Yeah, you can't market the language. That doesn't mean people aren't calling your clients. And they might be using another product to weasel in and try to flip that MA plan.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So,
and I'll tell you this too, Tony, one of the things that's really important about that 30, 60, 90, I have a partner, we had just met. He had known me for a while. I'd known of him for a while. And he said, I used to pull up to a mobile home and I'd go, that's a one-apper home. He goes, after watching 30, 60, 90, I pull up and go, that's a multi-app home. And he goes, now I have 10 apps in that home.
Wow. Yeah.
When's fantastic. Part 2? Somebody just asked us that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do it. I guess we'll have to do it in January when OEP kicks off.
Love you, Grace.
We'll have to look at our schedule and figure it out. So I'll reach out to you and we'll make that work. But that would be a perfect follow-up if you want to come back that quick on your availability. Let's see what next.
I'm the best AEP hangover cure is what I tell everybody.
I like
Go
that
to work.
Too. Fantastic. Well, listen, it's been awesome having you on. I know everybody's had a blast. I do want to get everybody's time in check because we are a little bit over an hour. But, if we're going to go overtime with anybody, we are going to go overtime with you. Thank you again for coming on. I mean, it's been, I will tell you, well, not a private note anymore because we are still live. That's been one of the steadiest audiences I've had. And again, I've had some pretty good people on here. So Done a hell of a job, Queen of the Bundle. Guys, this has been an awesome show. We will see you back for part 2. Let me work with Gaylan. We'll find out a quick date. We want to get it in time for OEP so you can use it as your strategy, but we will definitely bang that out. And then other than that, we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. Central. We got people like Gaylan coming on. We had Pete Fournier last week. Guess what we have next week?
I love Pete.
Next week, we have big time Bradley Hannon. So I'm going to make sure he's not mobile for this one. He showed up mobile for the Wednesday winning on Wednesday. Doesn't matter. The audio is what counts. But he's going to be live. It'll be fun, and we're going to see him. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but we'll figure it out.
We should call him Hannon. We should call him Hannon the Hangover Cure. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.